How's it going? I'm Zach Lona, independent filmmaker. And if you thought that you were early for NFTs in general, you were super early for cinema NFTs. We heard about Mr. Tarantino releasing uncut scenes of Pulp Fiction yesterday. That is just the tip of the iceberg. It's so early, in fact, that the only reason I'm up here on stage today is because no one wanted to watch my movie. But the cool thing about how early we are is that we're using NFTs to fix that problem. Better than any marketing budget ever could, really. So growing up, I had a fascination with cryptids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, pretty much anything except Super Yetis. Did that land? Where's the OGs? Come on. So earlier this year, my production company finished a cryptid mockumentary called He Who Lives in Hidden Lakes. And this was a film about a fictional cryptid called the Hidden Man. And that's a monster that could sort of be anything to anybody. If you look here, it's really to us just a hobo in a funny hat, but the townspeople in the movie think that it could be an alien demon. It's really sort of a decentralized myth. And you can watch the film on Prime Video right now. There's going to be a lot of shilling in this talk, but hopefully you'll thank me. And the only reason that you can watch the film right now is because of NFTs. When we got swept up in the mania earlier this year, after having been in and out of crypto since probably about 2017, we became obsessed with how cryptids meet crypto. So we're seeking to use NFT models for independent filmmaking, not only to distribute our indie film, but also, more importantly, to turn audiences into communities and give them a material stake in the success of the film itself. So as you see right here, He Who Lives in Hidden Lakes went on to mint as the first one-of-one fine art utility token, one-of-one scarce feature film NFT. As far as we know, that's sort of the genesis of NFT feature films. And this is sort of a novel way to think about cinema as scarce, unique artworks. So the film's NFT with on-chain metadata. Pretty sure that I'm also the first on-chain director, so that's fun. That sold on July 7th, and our utility model, meant a couple things. It meant that the sale of the NFT triggered the film's public release, consequently making it available on Amazon. And but really, like, why did the collector buy it? Why did the collector buy this one-of-one NFT of the film? The film isn't even on IPFS, so it's because then why would someone pay to watch it, right? The collector bought it because whoever owns the Hidden Lakes one-of-one is entitled to 50% of the film's streaming revenue. And if you think about that, that's like a lot of the potential money that we stand to make from the film, right? So what that model actually means is that it's sort of an affiliate marketing model for feature films. The token's utility is maximized. Say you're an influencer, you've got an audience of a couple million people, right? You stand to make a lot of money from sharing the film with your community. So it's a model where the more people watch the movie, the more people love it. The more people watch the movie, the more money you make as the collector patron of the film, and then the more people love the movie, the greater its financial and cultural value. So then it is then valued at more money because it's sort of the scarce, precious asset. This is a model we're calling patronized self-distribution, and it's a new NFT model for indie filmmakers to partner with these sorts of patron tastemakers. So the general idea is you mint a one of your film, add collector utility for someone to be incentivized to buy it, and then you release publicly on the first sale of the NFT. So with this model, no longer are studio executives really the only arbiters of cinema culture. It's now driven by visionary director filmmakers and then curated by discerning collector patrons. So we had a nice one-of-one physical made that the collector can claim. The collector actually has not claimed it because they wish to remain anonymous. So very interesting dynamics going on here with PSD. So where to next? I mean, an influencer didn't acquire the NFT as far as we know. The potential stands on the secondary market and also for future independent films to make use of patronized self-distribution. So this is just like the first step in our experiments with Web3 filmmaking. The next step is to take this community that we're sort of building from an audience in the film and sort of give them ownership of the film's IP itself. How do we do that? Well, of course, like everyone else, we had to launch a Bored Ape style collectible, which you see here. These are hidden ones, cryptids, but this is hopefully, obviously, not a Fiverr job. These are high quality and high utility interpretations of the hidden man cryptid that I talked about earlier, that is the subject of the film. So what these cryptid NFTs do is that they bootstrap a community DAO funded by half of the public sale going to the community treasury, and the other half goes to our production company so that we can promote the film's IP. So by owning a hidden one, you'll be able to freely build and monetize and own the intellectual property of this sort of nascent film franchise that we're building, along with your fellow cryptid owners. So how does that, what's the mechanism for that? What's the token utility for owning a cryptid? So an airdrop is going to go to holders of cryptids at a certain point, and then that is what we're calling the codex. It's a poster NFT that acts as a licensing token. So the mechanism is you stake the token, and then you, in return, get a unlimited, non-transferable commercial license to use the IP. Think about that for a second. There is a massive scale utility in what this DAO can stand to create. You can take not only your cryptid NFT, but also characters from the story, storylines. You can add new characters and lore to the fictional universe to make sequels, movies, games, media, all the way up to merchandise. It's really, truly unlimited. And whatever artifact you create using this IP, you keep the rights to that individual artwork. In exchange for this, for that ownership and that access, the DAO is going to take a modest slice of all the revenue that project generates. So what that accomplishes is that each derivative some of that value is captured and some of that upside goes back to the DAO community at large. So if you think about that, each and every community member has a true material stake in every derivative within the sort of Hidden Lakes cinematic universe. Yeah, so token holders, in this model, which we're calling proof of stake licensing, token holders no longer have to compete with the parent brand like you see in a lot of these collectibles where you have the rights to your individual token, but you can't use, for instance, the parent brand's logo or the name in any of your advertising. We're doing away with that, and not only that, but this DAO will also be able to offer free classes and resources to help nurture the talent that is created operating under this IP. It's really sort of an artist's guild that is building a community-owned cinematic universe based off of this foundation that is He Who Lives in Hidden Lakes. And this can translate to if anyone else has a short film or really any sort of IP, this model hopefully introduces access and scale to any sort of IP. So it also solves certain challenges that DAOs face. How do you establish revenue streams? What sort of things is the DAO going to offer? Products, services, things like this. And then how do you incentivize good work at scale? With that, a bull case for this proof-of-stake licensing model is that hundreds or thousands of DAO members can be creating Hidden Lake Cinematic Universe content at the same time. So the brand can scale massively on a very short time frame. And I show these because these are sort of the models in my mind, in my opinion, that we are going to see usher in a new golden age of cinema, to bring it back to the title of the talk. It's sort of, the cinema is in a dire state, as is at least my opinion, and also in my opinion it requires nothing short of communal myth making to really see a rebirth. So like in a world where the HLCU is a household name, a director out of film school can produce a short that has a built-in audience of people who are willing to support their new work, and they'll be able to get in front of who they need to get in front of to make their talents and their work known. So where PSD is common, a film's collector may be a bigger draw than actually its leading name. And to me, that's what the golden age of cinema means. Golden age is myth building. That is, it's artist first, patron fueled, and community driven. And if you want to be a part of it, you can scan that QR code right there. The cryptids are minting now for 0.025 Ether. So it's a bear market. Gas is high, but hopefully the value is clear. Thank you. Sure, can we ask? Go ahead. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, so the question is, how do we promote it since it is scarce? So we don't. I sort of refuse to purchase marketing services, at least at this juncture, just because that's sort of my philosophy. So we ended up selling the film One of One sort of as a consequence of certain influencers that I know that are sort of niche, not necessarily NFT native, but they do have a foot in sort of the crypto world, and we sort of got some eyes on our auction. There was a couple bids on the film One of One. So there was a certain luck element to it, but in speaking with the collector, who's anonymous, we DM all the time about business strategy and things like that. The value is clear to them, and they appear to be a holder. Anyone else? Yes. Yeah, the question is, since it is an experiment, all of this, would I change anything in the future? I think it's a little too early to tell. There's about 200 cryptids that have minted already, and it's a little early. We sold the film One of One in July, so I think it is early to sort of assess what I personally would do. What I would really like to see is other independent filmmakers building on these models and using them as like a baseboard to come up with things that we just have not even conceived of yet, and really let the sort of independent filmmaking world flourish as a consequence of these NFT strategies. Yeah, absolutely. Meet me outside after we're done. Yeah, so the question is like, how did we raise the funds for the film at first? So I've been producing this, writing it since 2016, and we shot it in 2019. The film's budget was raised from my personal funds. So that's how we sort of got that in the can. However, you do see a lot of projects nowadays in this space fundraising with NFT models, and as a consequence of sort of what we're doing with this DAO too, my producer has an idea for a sequel in this sort of HLCU universe, and we're going to then use this DAO community as sort of a jumping off point for fundraising that film through NFTs. So this doesn't really come into the fundraising aspect of it, which is another whole problem to solve, but we're definitely getting there as well. Thanks for the questions, guys.